Let's get started. Good evening, everyone. And again, thank you all for being here. It's a wonderful turnout. I am certainly grateful and honored to have the privilege to participate this evening. The City of Gunnison is a sponsor for the Journal, and Mario asked that I tell you a little bit more about that. So, like many local governments, we recognize that effectively serving means that we must listen. And we must listen to our longtime residents, we must listen to our newcomers, our youth, our seniors, our business owners, and even our visitors. And we do our best to meet people where they are at. We host public meetings and workshops, and we have coffee hours, and we put things on social media, and all of that with the intent of sharing information and with listening. And yet, what we have learned and what you all know very well is that there is nothing more effective than a one-on-one conversation. That's where the real meaning comes. And so this journal began with just that. And I'm going to go off script, even if I get in a little bit of trouble, so I can tell you a little bit more about that. I promise it won't take too long. So beginning with a conversation, this journal. Mario Sibley, will you please come up? And can all of you give her a warm welcome? You know it. So, thank you to this incredible human that I know if you know her, you love her just as much as I do. So, when we think about the journal, the story goes like this. It was a late spring last year, and the two of us, oh no, you're not leaving, my dear. And the two of us were enjoying a beverage. It's our story. On the deck at our local High Alpine Brewing Company. And I was rambling on and on, as I do, about the city's strategic planning efforts and why anyone should actually care about that. And Mario, as usual, she was asking the best of questions. And if you've spent any time with Mario, particularly with a beverage, they're really tough questions. And she makes you think. She makes you critically think. And so I could see her wheels spinning. And I told her all about the city's updated aspirational statement, which I would like to read to you. It's very brief. It says, Gunnison is a mountain community where education, entrepreneurship, and the outdoors converge, creating a vibrant economy and a welcoming place. We prioritize our environment, and we respect the dignity of each person as we work towards collective well-being. And as I went on to explain that we're going to be doing some listening sessions and we wanted to better understand how the city could specifically support our local economy, we talked about the community's prior comments that we don't, in fact, have an official brand in Gunnison. And how could a brand actually help contribute to our local economy and not only help support visitors potentially coming here, but it also, if done right, has the potential to represent our pride and statement around this is who we are. So more questions for Mario. And that was it. We planned our next beverage and we bid one another farewell. And so I fast forward and we were at our next beverage at the same deck, a little bit warmer, and Mario begins. Do you recall those journals that I gave you when you first started? I said, well, of course I do. I said, yes, of course. And she replies, so I was talking with George. George, where are you? Can you please come up too? No, it's totally off script, but of course we have to honor the two of them. And so that is where this all started. She continued and she said, I was talking with George, and what if a journal could help answer the who we are? What if? And that's the power of a conversation. This journal, as very well stated in the beginning, is not only a collection of entries, it represents the heart of this community. It serves as the most authentic way and the most beautiful way to engage the people that call this place home. And it is a meaningful way to listen and learn and keep us grounded as we make decisions for our collective future. So to Mario and to George, thank you. All right, we're back on script. Thank you. So on the screen, you saw all of the art that was submitted previously, and it's here on the stage as well with us. To my left and to the right, we have the gorgeous pieces of Tina Butterfield as well as Amanda Stage that were included in the journal. Yeah, they're beautiful. In a minute, I'm going to ask everyone associated with the journal to stand, and I please expect that you would cheer loud and long. But before I do that, I'm especially fond of a very special guest. It's a golden retriever. Puppy. Isla, would you like to come up to stage, please, and join me? Tom, could you please bring her up here? All right, everyone together. Let's put our hands up, let's stand, and thank all of our entries. Thank you. Thank our writers, our artists, our photographers, our composers, our chefs, our funders, our translator, and the production team. Thank you, everyone. All right, we may be seated. Thank you so much for coming. She's too cute. She grabbed my scarf right out of the gate. So we wish all of the wonderful writers could be featured this evening, but because of the nature of the Smithsonian event, we really needed to ensure that we were focusing on their exhibit as well. And so the entries that are represented this evening are helping to align with that focus of the Smithsonian, which is the big question around our changing nature of rural America. So our show is in 3 parts. The first, as we talked a little bit about earlier, is who are we? What we need, and yes, we can. So everyone tonight, from the food table to the music to even our bartender, was part of the journal in some way. And even the writers not reading now had an insight that was on PowerPoint earlier. So with that, we'll be on with the show. Alan Wartes is our first, and he has actually taken the Country Times on a retreat this evening, so he couldn't join us, but for all of you, he has made his voice still heard this evening.
I came to the mountains one beautiful May. I just sold my beach house out in California, with a buttload of money and a Mercedes Benz. I came to start my life over again. So I packed up my Levi's and my new cowboy hat, a poodle named Fifi and a big yellow cat. The flowers were blooming when we crossed the divide. The sign said entering paradise, and its purple mountains majesty above the fruited plain. Now I think I really do understand why they call it the home of the brave. I bought me a chateau with a breathtaking view. I planted tomatoes on the first day of June. Those maters were frozen on the 4th of July, with 6 inches of snow in the dry. But I barely had time to recover from that when a rancher shot Fifi and the coyotes ate my cat. The neighbors filed suit 'cause I dammed up the creek. It was one hell of a week, and its purple mountains majesty above the fruited plain. Now I think I really do understand why we call it the home of the brave. I tried to find work, I took around my resume. I asked how many tax lawyers live here, would you say? They answered it could be 110, but they're all working at the Holiday Inn. Now I'd never noticed that sign on my road. It said no winter maintenance 20 miles from my home. The county officials weren't answering the phone. Their recording said you're on your own, and its purple mountains majesty above the suddenly attractive and very far away fruited plain. Now I think I really do to understand why we call it the home of the brave. The day after Christmas, it was 40 below. I didn't know my thermometer went down that low. My car said, huh? And the septic tank froze, and I lost all feeling in my toes. So I'm back where I started, out in California. I'll take my chances with the landslides and quakes, but after all I've been through, I don't sit around and moan. Now I've got a cool second home, and it's Purple Mountain's majesty above the fruited plain. Now I think I really do understand why we call it the home of the brave. We call it the home of the brave.
That was wonderful. So helping us think about who we are is Hannah Craner. She is the director of the Colorado State University, Go Rams, extension program. And her piece is on We Are of a Ranching Heritage. Hannah, please come on up.
So I went to the University of Wyoming, so I have to say go Pokes. I'm a third-generation cattle rancher in the upper Gunnison Valley. Cattle and cattle ranching are what I love and know best. I want to capture the current state of animal agriculture in Gunnison County, for it's such an important part of our economy. In Gunnison County alone, there are 200,000 acres in animal agriculture. More than 64,000 of these acres have been permanently conserved in 120 easements with the Gunnison Ranchland Conservation Legacy. Gunnison ranchers produce more than 3 million pounds of beef a year, with an economic impact of more than $46 million. More than 16,200 cows and calves live in Gunnison County, and the local ranchers sell more than $16 million in agricultural products every year. Ranching is important from an economic standpoint, but maybe even more important of an importance to keep our valley healthy and beautiful and keep those visitors coming here. Ranching is very much tied to the seasons. On the Journal website, you can find out exactly what we do all year, and I hope you'll take a look and remember us next time you eat a steak.
We are folks who come for college to be with grandkids, to bike or to ski, but stay for the community. Like Peggy Dolson. Please join us up.
Years ago, when bringing our daughter to visit Western Colorado University, we knew she would never return. I knew she loved the valley because Gunnison is gorgeous, and that's what draws you in. But what keeps a person here is a sense of belonging and the feeling that Gunnison can be home. The community members are what make Gunnison a good place to live. We followed our daughter here 13 years later. Many tasks must be completed to make a move. Everyone at the City of Gunnison, the Gunnison Valley Hospital, the rec center, the library, and the business community were very supportive. I witnessed volunteers helping at races, people serving at the food pantry, working on the Gunnison trails, and making music and art events happen. The people at Gunnison are our community because they join together as needed. They reach out to others, and they care for the beauty that is offered here. They are Gunny Love.
Thank you, Peggy. So community support. Neither Emily Mersa, if you read her entry, nor John Powell were able to join us this evening. However, they described that the support that this community offered them during their struggles between physical as well as some mental challenges, are a really beautiful read, and they shared some pretty deep thoughts. Every time I think about it, I almost cry, so that's why I'm getting choked up. I'm sorry. I do hope that you take a moment to read their entries. We are people who do right by our neighbors. And Luke Danielson, who for many years was our only Spanish-speaking attorney, was married to Ellen Peterson, who established the Multicultural Resource Center and Health and Human Services.
In Gunnison, so it goes, Don Esteban and Doña Paula were the Cora pioneers who got work on a ranch somehow. Others followed them. Immigration seems to work here. Why? Well, part of the story of why an immigrant community's been able to put down roots is that Gunnison was still and is today a community of individuals who in the Western frontier tradition tended to judge other people as individuals, to hire them if they were hard workers, to help them get a roof over their heads, and to help them through hard times, best of our Western heritage. Another part of the Gunnison story is fair and decent law enforcement. I just say not uniformly the case in Western Colorado, but the Gunnison Valley has had people like Rick Murdy, like Scott Jackson, Rob Whiting, Rick Bessaker, and others who believed in straight arrow law enforcement and fairness to all. Teachers, mentors, and individuals like Marketa Zubkova, Ellen Pedersen, and Mary Burt contributed years of intense effort to integrating immigrants into this community. Most rural counties never thought of having something like a multicultural resource office. We have one.
Thank you, Luke. We are a community of many neighbors and many places. Isadora Hernandez came here from Guatemala, and this is her home now. Her and Ricardo Escuera will tell this story. Do you want the other mic?
Thank you.
Me moví de Guatemala a Gunnison hace 4 años. Como muchos de nosotros también emigré de un pequeño pueblito que se llama Jacaltenango, en donde se habla poptí, una lengua derivada a maya. La diferencia entre muchos y deja mi país para poder sobresalir como persona, yo también, para apoyar a mis padres y a mis hermanos. Llegué al pueblo de Gunnison, donde algunos familiares ya estaban establecidos, y me comentaron cómo este valle se ha convertido de un hogar para ellos. Yo buscaba un nuevo comienzo. Mi primer año fue difícil, ya que estaba acostumbrada a no pedir ayuda o apoyo de donde vengo. Por ser nuevo, te debes sentir con el derecho de pedir y exigir.
4 years ago, I moved from Guatemala to Gunnison. Like many others, I immigrated from a small town called Jacaltenango, where we speak Popti, a language derived from Mayan. I left my country in search of personal growth and to support my parents and sisters. My first year was challenging. I struggled with asking for help or support. I feared that my opinion wouldn't be valued or my story would be dismissed.
Mi segundo año fue más fácil. Noté que si desea obtener un nuevo comienzo, también me tendría que acoplar al cambio de cultura, lenguaje y más. Como dicen, al que no habla, ni Dios lo ayuda. Empecé a tener amistades y algunas personas de Gunnison y Crested Butte fueron siendo acogedores a este momento. La confianza era mutual y ellos me ofrecieron una mano como comenzar a acoplarme a esta nueva etapa de mi vida.
In my second year, I realized that if I wanted a new beginning, I needed to adapt to cultural and linguistic changes. I started speaking up. I started making friends, and the people of Gunnison and Crested Butte were, and continue to be, incredibly welcoming. They were the ones who gave me a hand to reach the new stage in my life.
La esperanza fue algo que me mantuvo a flote para seguir mi lucha de un mejor futuro, y ahora considero este valle como mi hogar. No haría nada diferente, ya que todos los momentos difíciles que he vivido me han hecho la persona que soy y me han traído a lugares increíbles como es Gunnison.
Hope has been the thing that has kept me afloat in this place. I now consider this valley my home. I wouldn't change a thing. The hardships I've faced have shaped me into the person I am today and have led me to incredible places like Gunnison.
Thank you, Ricardo. So many of you know her, I have no doubt. Bella Biondi with the Gunnison Country Times. She's on that retreat that I mentioned earlier. She's not able to join us this evening. Thank you. I want to make sure we're ready for the next speaker. She wasn't able to join us this evening, but she has been a long champion for decent, equitable, and affordable housing here in our community. So while she can't be here, Jacob Spetzler, the former Times photographer, thank you.
Also covering for the current photographer.
All the things. Thank you so much, Jacob. He is going to read her piece for us, and so the theme revolves around because all is not just pretty and happy here. People struggle.
It always starts out with good intentions, promises of fixed infrastructure, new homes, affordable rent, a better life. But then the story changes course. In each of these ill-fated stories, the property owner is king. It only takes one person to put up a park for sale, turn a blind eye to poor conditions or hike rents. It takes a whole community to pick up the pieces, and we have tried. The victims of these decisions are our neighbors, essential workers who are the gears on the bike that keep this community running. Immigrants, the disabled, those on fixed incomes, and the elderly, our friends, co-workers, and families.
So Holly Hunter can't be here tonight either, but Jody Payne with the Food Pantry has kindly agreed to read her entry as well. Housing insecurity, food insecurity, sobering realities of who we are. You're welcome.
Holly was born in the Valley and returned to attend Western. She could count on weekly suppers, a load of laundry, and a sense of belonging with her stand-in family. But even with a support system, mental health struggles began to overwhelm her. These struggles and pressures manifested in her eating patterns, and Holly began to experience food insecurity. At Western, she discovered the Mountaineer Marketplace, which Western maintains through a partnership with Gunnison Country Food Pantry. Access to fresh food from the marketplace and feeling free of the stigma of asking for help gave Holly the stable base to which she could work on her healing and earning her degree. Holly illuminates a truth about food insecurity. A 20-year-old computer science major isn't the person that immediately comes to mind when you think about it. Sometimes those we know, maybe we know quite well, can be dealing with hidden struggles like food insecurity, and it can happen to anyone.
Everyone knows this song, the tune. It's My Country 'Tis of Thee. Only tonight it's about Gunnison, thanks to part-time resident and fiddler Didi Ondishko. And I'm going to start it out, but please sing along. The words are here on the screen.
My dear town, Gunnison, sweet land of outdoor fun, of thee I sing. I love thy rocks and rills, thy trails and water thrills, thy streets with music fills, high spirits you bring. Wow, you guys are good. When I'm on western slope, you bring me joy and hope on holiday. Here I'm with family, here long-time friends I see. I pine for all of thee when I must go away.
We're now going to reflect on some things that we need as the corner of our rural America changes. And first, we need to ask some really tough questions. They're hard ones. And Katja Schlesinger, I knew I would mess one up, but I hope I didn't butcher that too bad, who writes curriculum for our K-12 schools, has commented on issues around climate change. Thank you. Can you help me with your last name?
Yeah. I'd always tell my students, but put some marbles in your mouth and it makes it easier. Schlosser.
Schlosser.
Mrs. S. When
Beautiful
I was an
name.
eighth grade
Thank
teacher.
you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. In my life, I've grappled with 3 pressing questions. First, what does the future hold for life on this planet? We stand at a crossroads. We can either commit to reducing carbon emissions, creating a livable future, or continue to contribute to greenhouse gas emissions, leading to continued widespread displacement and continued extinctions. Yet, history shows that humanity has consistently relied on social connections and community support to overcome challenges. Here, I found these things. I found a place where each of our actions matter. Second, is it ethical to start a family on this overcrowded, warming planet? You can see I did. They're with me today. For me, to stop procreating is the ultimate pessimism. It's my love of my children that gives me infinitely more drive to improve their future. This valley is a refuge for families wanting to do this. Finally, the question of where to raise my family in this ever-evolving world has found its answer in the Gunnison Valley. Initially drawn by world-class recreation, we've decided to remain here because of the deep sense of community that we found. Thank you all. Coupled with a natural beauty that offers rest and renewal. It's here that I found purpose and a sense of belonging in an ever-changing world, and I plan to stay, to continue to build the future I hope for with all of you.
Thank you. To move forward, we need to smile. We need human connections. And Sandy Guerreri, of a family that has much history here, longtime ranchers, has found human connection in spray paint.
Spray paint. Thank you. So it started in October, many years ago, with an idea and some bright orange spray paint and black spray paint. I painted a pumpkin face on the end of our stacked row of hay bales off of 135. Some of you are shaking your head. I knew that hay bale. I stepped back and hoped that it would make people smile as they passed by, and they did. So I've continued. The hay is harvested from our ranch. on Ohio Creek, hay bale it's a connection to our agricultural roots. To me, unexpected art is a wonderful thing. I see it on a flower-painted mailbox, along a rural road, a painted bus as it passes by, handmade metal sculptures in a front yard, and a Be Kind mural by the bank. These all create a feeling of warmth in our community and of being connected to one another. This nebulous but real feeling is something we don't want to lose as we experience growth. And I don't think we will.
So we absolutely need a healthy nonprofit sector. I know we all agree upon that. It is really the third leg, if you will, or maybe the first leg, of the community stool that includes our business as well as our local government. And local nonprofits, all three of us, being concerned with the well-being of everyone that is here. So Project Hope deals with victims of violence. And Maria Perez can't be with us this evening, so Amy Kirschenbaum, thank you, the executive director of Project Hope, and also a journal writer, will read from Mari's piece. Thank you.
A day in the life of an advocate, a journey to restore hope. The day began before the sun had even risen, a quiet, cool morning in Gunnison. As an advocate, each day brings a new challenge, and today was no different. My mission, to help one of our clients, a courageous woman, to regain her identity, quite literally. All of her identification documents had been destroyed in a domestic violence incident, leaving her in a precarious situation. Without these essential papers, she couldn't access basic services, secure housing, or even prove who she was. The task at hand was daunting, but it was one I knew we could accomplish together. Maria picked her and her children up early in the morning, the kids still half asleep, bundled into the car as we set out on the long journey to the Guatemala consulate in Denver. After dropping the kids off with a trusted friend, we realized we had some extra time. I decided to take a detour over Cottonwood Pass, a scenic route that winds through the majestic Rocky Mountains. My client had never been there before, and I wanted to share this beautiful part of Colorado with her. As we drove through the towering peaks and lush valleys, there was a sense of peace that settled in, something we both needed after the stresses and uncertainty of the past few weeks. By the time we reached Denver, it was midday. We grabbed lunch, enjoyed a rare moment of relaxation before the main event. My client was understandably nervous. She didn't even have an original copy of her birth certificate, and we weren't sure if the consulate would be able to help her without it. But we pressed on, hopeful that today would be the day things turned around for her. After what felt like an eternity, she emerged from the consulate with tears streaming down her face. But these were finally tears of joy. Against all odds, she had succeeded. Her identification documents were replaced. In that moment, the relief and happiness were palpable. Maria immediately reached out to everyone at the office to share the good news. This was a win, a big one, and it reminded her of why she does this work. This job can be incredibly challenging. The cases are tough. The stakes are high. The emotional toll can be heavy, but days like today, when we get a win, make it all worthwhile. Knowing that we made a real difference in someone's life, that we helped them regain a piece of their dignity and independence, it's indescribably rewarding. On the drive back to Gunnison, they reflected on the magnitude of what had just been accomplished. This client, facing a language barrier, no transportation, and a very limited support system, had been able to reclaim her identity with the help of our organization. It was a powerful reminder of the impact we can have, even when the odds seem stacked against us. Once they were back, they picked up the kids, made one last stop at the grocery store to get dinner. As Maria dropped them off at home, she couldn't help but feel a deep sense of fulfillment. Today was a victory, and while the road ahead for my client may still be long, she now has the tools she needs to move forward. And that, for an advocate, is the greatest reward of all.
Thank you, Amy. Did a great job. The next person to read for us, you know her as an Edward Jones consultant. Lacey Henry came here to visit for many years, and then like many, she stayed. She points out our need to listen to the stories from the people that are not like us.
Our stories connect us in ways that create a strong community bond. I was asked, what would I change or what would I want to see different in the Valley? This was one of my thoughts. I don't like the FedEx or the BLM buildings that stand where one of my beautiful childhood memories once lived. But after humoring my emotional response, logic did eventually kick in, as the development of Gunnison is a multifaceted issue. There has been an unfortunate rift between many of the locals who have grown up here and the transplants like me who have moved to the Valley. Transplants often hear, "You're erasing our history." And the locals frequently hear, "Well, times are changing." We all have many different perceptions within the Valley. My ask to community members and leaders is simple. Listen to others' stories as if you were listening to yourself.
Thank you, Lacey. Does anyone know Chris Dickey? Okay, just checking. I think he was a former publisher of the Country Times, and he asks, is it worth it to keep this place special? What are you willing to do to keep it so?
Well, no place stays unchanged. But that is not to say that I don't believe there are characteristics worth protecting, promulgating, and promoting. What is it that makes a place feel special? Like a place a person could be from? Well, for me, it's recalling gathering places like the Burnt Down Beef and Barrel restaurant and traditions like town ditches and the lighting of the W. These are conduits for connections and stories. It's knowing that the town cop picks a mean mandolin or that the guy walking dogs down the street is a retired judge. There are bright spots and weaknesses for us here. Our music scene is perhaps more vibrant than ever. The immigrant community is in many ways leading the way on building community. Conversely, gone are the days, it seems to me, when big groups gathered regularly to engage in honest, open, and intelligent debate over the issues of the day. So I ask, are you going to keep what's special to you about Gunnison alive? Yes. It's up to each of us to do that. Good answer. It's up to each of us to do that, one human interaction at a time. Communities are a lot like families. Not everyone gets along all the time, but you either believe it's worth it to stick together, to stick it out, or you don't. It does take effort, and I sure hope some things are worth fighting for.
Audience participation. Ready? G, U, double N, I, S, O, N. Woo! There's a little part in between too. Gunnison strong we've always been, and ISON, Gunnison strong we never been. You ready? G, U, double N. Gunnison strong we've always been. I, S, O, N. Gunnison strong we've never been. Hey, woo! Yeah! In Gunnison Gunnison County, where the rivers run, our valley shines beneath the sun. With mountains high and skies so clear, we're the town that's full of cheer. G-U-N, Gunnison strong, we've always been. I-S-O-N, Gunnison strong, we've never been.
Through winter's cold and summer's bright, this valley stands with all its might. Neighbors smile side by side. In Gunnison, we feel our pride.
G-U-N, Gunnison strong, we've always been. I-S-O-N, Gunnison strong, we've never been.
Let's go, Gunnison, shout it loud. We're mountain strong, forever proud. From lakes to plains, we rise and soar. Our community heart is at its core.
G-U-N, Gunnison strong, we've always been. I-S-O-N, Gunnison strong, we've never been.
Together we work, together we find what legacy we want to leave behind. We're the best, we stand as one. In Gunnison, our race is won.
G-U-N, Gunnison strong, we've always been. I-S-O-N, Gunnison strong, we've never been. Woo!
I knew there was going to be a cheer, but I didn't know what to expect there. So you probably recognize Community Foundation Director Lauren Kugler, retired educator Barbara Haas, Kim Eastman of the Eastman family, who's in and with the Chamber of Commerce, and then Susan Wyman, the owner of the Gunnison Gardens. That cheer was written actually by Anna Porter, the cheer coach at Western, whose squad couldn't be here tonight. But they graciously allowed some others to do it. We had their blessing, don't worry. So what better way to introduce our third section? Does anyone remember what it is?
Yes, we can.
Nicely done. You must have the script. Oh, it's behind us. Well done, Jody. Well done. So first up, to address the ingredients we need to cook the secret sauce of getting things done is Pat McGee, field biologist at Western Colorado University and champion of the sage grouse. His ingredient is collaboration.
Hi, everybody. That's a hard act to follow right there. This is a story of strange bedfellows learning to work together on complex problems that divide communities. By 1995, the sage grouse population got so diminished that stakeholders like National Public Land Agencies, the stock growers, environmental organizations, developers, recreation groups, and Gunnison County came together. Despite the mistrust and animosity one might expect, they made a conservation plan. Then in 2000, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service raised the specter of listing the bird under the Endangered Species Act. This galvanized the local players who did not want the federal government to take over. They crafted a conservation plan with real teeth. Whether the Gunnison sage grouse will survive the changing times remains an open question. But at this point, there's a positive commitment to do what we can do as a community. In acknowledging that, ecologically, a community is all the living entities in a place, and we must and can work collaboratively if we are all to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. So Barth Haig moved here permanently not too long ago from Kansas. Having spent many wonderful boyhood years in Gunnison, his ingredient is the melding of that Western can-do, gumption, and grit with the recognition that in a place that's hard to live in, we must also reflect the attitude of, we're all in this together.
Thank you. When I was in the 4th grade, we received a postcard from my grandparents with a picture of a river and a message. Found a beautiful little place called Gunnison. You'll have to come for a visit. Our first visit in the summer of 1967 was like nothing I'd ever experienced. We stayed at a small fisherman's resort, Sleepy Hollow, on the Gunnison River between Gunnison and Almont. Resort overstates the quality of this place, but a cabin and a bathhouse were all real fishermen needed. Today, after nearly a lifetime of visits, Gunnison is my permanent home. The waters still beckon, and the trout remain mostly plentiful. The can-do-it resourcefulness of its citizens, the we're all in this together attitude of the good folks who stick it out 12 months a year remain constant. That is the true soul of the place, something I first began to discover nearly 60 years ago.
Thank you, Barth. You heard Dave Pinkerton's music before the show, and he's part of an impromptu group of musicians who jam on the sidewalk at the Saturday mornings on Main Street. Isn't that lovely? It's pretty awesome. He's a scientist and a fishing guide, and his ingredient is recognizing that whether in music or in community, each of us has a part to play, and each part matters.
Thank you. I'll do this real fast. I guess I have to sing what I say, right? Yeah. Do you have a song to sing? Asked Ron, the de facto leader of the Saturday morning summer picking circle in front of Kent Vile's Vibrato guitar shop. As is the habit in a picking circle, the opportunity to lead a song moves around the group from one person to the next. That's kind of cool. The circle was unbroken. Each contributor, whether expert or novice, poured out his or her best in the spirit of making a joyful noise. Some could sing and play at an advanced level. Others could count to 4, but not the same way each verse. Yet everyone, especially the spontaneous sidewalk crowd, I went home thinking about the picking circle, the wonderful way we all accepted our musical eccentricities and yet still made meaningful music together. All of us in this valley have a song to sing, and it is a good feeling to know we have a head start on listening to those songs because of the traditions like the summer picking circle.
Thank you, Dave. Graham Spriggs is a recent Western grad. He's a mentor. And his ingredient in our sauce is that recognizing the beauty of things that differentiate us is also the way to what unites us.
Thank you. We don't have to work as hard to find common ground because Gunnison is our common ground. Because we often share similar interests and reasons for living here, difference becomes the ultimate glue that binds our connection. As I visit cities, I recognize the opposite to be true. Because people are drawn to more populated areas for a much wider variety of reasons, it suddenly becomes easier to connect with others based on their similarities. But here in Gunnison, our individual strengths are the only thing that make our little world turn the way it does. Rather than becoming more alike, it works out much better to be unalike recognizing and appreciating our differences. Rather than posed as potential obstacles in the way, we view our differences as weapons for achievement, enlisting the help of others' strengths in combination with our own to carry us forward together. Think about that. I would encourage you to think about that. The next time you read a specific article from the Gunnison Times, sip a tributary coffee, or munch a zucchini from a Mountain Roots garden. The difference in the hands that made each of them makes our community thrive. Our smaller community allows us to more directly observe the fruits of our individual strengths, promoting and lifting up the ways we're unique. And that's pretty beautiful and also pretty human, if you ask me. This also becomes the only way I know how to describe my job at Gunnison Valley Mentors. When we encourage our differences, we encourage each other. And Mentors provides me this space. I can tell you this is honestly the case because the youth I have the opportunity to serve were the ones that gave me this idea in the first place. That in a culture that promotes sameness, it is more important than ever, not just to celebrate our differences, but to be together and not the same. Thank you.
Hey, Graham. Thanks for being a mentor. So neither Kathy Elliott nor Patrick O'Connor were able to join us this evening, but their pieces dovetail beautifully together. And they address that vital ingredient in our secret sauce of facing the future, creatively thinking outside of the box. And along with some of those examples of what that might actually mean and look like, George Sibley will represent them both. Thank you, George.
Thank you. I'm representing Kathy Elliott and Patrick O'Connor. We hear it a lot. If we're going to solve wicked problems, we've got to think outside the box. What does that mean? Well, Kathy Elliott, who's is a longtime realtor and Western business teacher, wrote for the Journal about thinking outside the box. Thinking outside the box means trying to think in new and creative ways about old problems and being open to new ideas about them. To start, think of new ways to state the problem. You can't think outside the box until you know the box you are in. Then let your mind wander and ponder. Let your thoughts flow where they will, no rules or boundaries. Challenge whatever is considered normal. Look beyond the obvious, expand your vision and thoughts with a wider grasp. Set aside old assumptions and be innovative. Be original. Rewrite society's rules. Sounds like fun. Yeah. Now, Patrick O'Connor, a recent Western grad, a soldier now and a service-oriented soul, reflected on the idea of giving back for people that often take for granted how much we've been given, and he very much is thinking outside the box here. What if, Patrick says, a program was established in which everyone in a community was required to devote a certain amount of time to community service? What if such a program gave people choices on how to give back, not only national defense through military service, but like helping the less fortunate through social service, or stewardship of the earth through outdoor service, CCC. Could high school graduates use such a program to experience more of life, explore different callings before jumping into more education or the workforce? Could college students use such a program as a respite to catch a breath, reaffirm their calling while they still had time to rethink their path? Would such a program bring neighbors and strangers together? Would there be a deepened sense of pride in one's community? Would it help unite society? Would it help? Would it be obstacles? What would be the obstacles to such a program? And would the benefits outweigh those obstacles? Think outside the box.
Thank you, George. And last but most certainly not least, Susan Wyman, whose Gunnison Gardens at the farmer's market always have the largest cabbages on the earth. She stresses that we must be the change. It won't come from the feds or the state or an outside business. It starts right here with each of us and what each of us contributes and how we can creatively work together.
Purple. When I'm an old farmer, I will wear purple. I'll stop by the post office with chicken poo on my pant legs, in a Carhartt jacket torn by barbed wire, too young for Medicare, too broke to retire, happier than when I had more cash, now sitting on the sidelines for the economic crash. I'll spend too much time washing eggs and meditating and not enough time on housekeeping. My conscience will be cleaner than my house or my truck. Oh, fart. I will wear my pajamas to the farm to close in the chickens at night, and I'll let go of judging what's wrong or what's right. I'll get a little dog who barks when he's happy, and he will be very, very happy and yappy. I'll give up the illusion of self-sufficiency. I'll ask for help and improve our efficiency. Vocally pro-farm and anti-big pharma, I'll embrace a little bit of suffering to transcend our karma. I'll rail against chemicals, plastics, and Wall Street, and then I'll shut up and weed carrots and beets. The solutions we need won't come from out there. It's time for real action from people who care. Isn't it time to open our eyes? This body, this farm, my people, my tribe. In fresh air and sunshine, skies purple and blue. Farming till the sun sets. It's the best I can do.
What we do, we got each other's back. Well, I know this lady, she was down on her luck. Stack of bills on the table. Time had gone and left her the bottom of an empty cup. She said I'd surely pay if I were able. Well, her next door neighbor pulled us all together. Raised a little cash, help her get through the stretch of bad weather. Just a little something to help her get back on track. It's what we do, we got your back. Around here we stand tall for each other. One can make a difference and take it further.
it's us versus them. And it seems to me we're all in this together. So let's agree to disagree. Maybe then begin with respect for one another. But if we're too busy talking, then we ain't listening. Speak your piece and this'll be a better world to live in. Just a little something to keep us all on track. It's what we do. We got each other's back. Around here we stand tall for each other. One can make a difference and take it further. It's time to take my stand, lend back that helping hand. My home is this neighborhood. I'm here for good. I'm here for good. I'm here for good. I'm here for good.
Thank you, Chris. I'm sure you all know Chris Cody. Maybe one mic, not two. There we go. Chris Cody's song, every time I hear it, I love it more and more, and it really helps reflect his thoughts on living here for good. I would like to wrap this evening up by telling you all thank you. And I also want to thank the Arts Center, especially our sound man, Darren. Thank you, Darren. Very much appreciate being in this venue and the Arts Center for hosting us. A huge hug to all of you for coming this evening on this cold night. And I trust that you all will depart this evening with a little bit of hope and an even deeper appreciation for this incredible place that we get to call home. Good night, and yes, we can. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you again.